About it for some months. Now it's back. Greece is back on the agenda. Economic woes back on the agenda in Germany.
That's right. And a sensitive issue it is in Germany as well. And it was actually the finance minister, Wolfgang Schauble, who put it back on the agenda when he was at an election meeting on Tuesday. He said that Greece will need a third bailout. Now, we've heard that before, at least implied, but he said it very explicitly this time. How much? Well, we don't know for sure. It'd be much less, of course, than the 240 billion euros the country has already had. Let's listen to what the German finance minister had to say.
The situation in Greece certainly remains difficult. It was the most difficult case. That's why we had to do something unique, a debt reduction of 53%. But that's not a reason for a second debt reduction. There will have to be another program. That was said a long time ago and was always told to the public and the Bundestag.
Well, German Finance Minister Wolfgang Schauble speaking there. Well, to get more on the reaction in Athens, we can go live to our correspondent there, Nathalie Savaricas. Thank you for joining us, Nathalie. So tell us, first of all, what's the reaction been to those comments from the German Finance Minister?
Well, the news here doesn't come as any real surprise. I mean, we know that the government here is struggling really with its finances, despite the efforts and intentions to implement reforms and progress on this. But nonetheless, everyone here in Greece wonders where all this will go. Now, all the big newspaper here, the daily newspaper, have this news paraded on their front page, asking where will this head? This just sounds like a bad scenario, bad script written over and over again. And to tell you the truth, speaking to ordinary Greeks here, they just wonder what the big plan is. And unfortunately, they seem to say that there is no plan with Greece, seemingly that we're here again, the same news, third rescue plan being prepared, and yet the country mired in the sixth year of recession with unemployment hitting record highs.
Nathalie, how much extra funding is likely to be needed?
Well, predictions are very risky. I mean, international creditors have been wrong in most of their estimates, which is essentially why Greece needs yet a third bailout. But however, what we do know is that Greece has a funding gap and needs to plug the holes. Now, the International Monetary Fund last month estimated that Greece's funding gap for next year amounts to around 4.6 billion euros. And for 2015, it will amount to some 6.5 billion euros, so around 11 billion euros there. Nonetheless, the big question is, of course, the government now just announced that it has, for the first time, a primary surplus, and yet it still owes billions of euros to small businesses and providers. So let's see where all this leads.
All right, Nathalie Savaricas in Athens, thanks very much for that. All right, just time, Matthew, how are the markets looking this Wednesday?
Yeah, let's take a quick look at the Asian markets, and most of those have been in the red for this trading session. The Nikkei there, though, did manage to just pop its head up into positive territory towards the end of trading. Otherwise, the Hang Seng in Hong Kong, as you can see, off over 1%.
All right, thanks very much, Matthew Warren there with the business update for us. Well, it's time now, live from Paris, for Focus.